Good evening, plebeians. So I went to the Crucible for the big snooker, and I've never been there before. My friend got tickets, and he was like, "Hey, listen, son, you better come on down." Okay. He asked. I was the second person he asked, so I wasn't first on the list, but I'll take second. Okay. Second still, on the podium. Second still gets a medal. So I went on down with his dad and his sister. And what an intimate little setting it is. It's recorded on TV. The guy comes out before. He's making cracking jokes about the oil protesters jumping on the table the other day. A proper big shagger. And I thought to myself, right in the middle of the game or whatever, I thought, it made me actually kind of respect the oil protesters, because when you saw it happening, when I saw it happening, of them jumping on the table, it made me think, oh, God, I already hate you all, and now I want you to die, okay? And it's a good cause what they're doing it for, but, snooker, everything, it's always the working man that has to eat the shit sandwiches, and, the biggest shit munchers are the working class, innit? And these people are never, I don't know, doing lacrosse tournaments. They never jump on the canoe at the Cambridge and Oxford, boat race. They're always going on the football pitches and going on the race courses and just going on the snooker. Nobody even watches snooker. It's not even that big a sport, and this knobhead jumped on the... Anyway, that's the feeling that I got. And then when I was there, kind of gave me a bit of respect for him, because it is quite daunting having to jump over the barrier, down onto the floor, then jump on the table and pour orange dust all over yourself like some sort of demented fairy. So, yeah, I kind of got a little bit of respect for him. And getting into the theatre, right, the Crucible Theatre, it was, I don't know, it was like going into American airport security. They didn't want that shit happening again, I'll tell you that. Full pat-downs, full metal detectors, passport checks, I had to strip off, anal cavity, the whole 9 yards, sniffer dogs sniffing for dust. No, I'm joking. It was a pat down, but it was a very serious. And they were saying that some guy from Happy Valley was next to us. I've never watched that shit. Okay, I don't watch any shit the BBC puts out. As far as I'm concerned, it's propaganda. I'm a little bit delusional at the minute. I've had a really long day. And it consisted of me getting up at 6:30 and driving to the arse end of nowhere to a little shithole called Carlisle. I'm from Sheffield, and that's kind of in the middle of the country, and Carlisle's kind of in the top left. It couldn't be any closer to Scotland. And obviously, you're just driving on the motorway, so I didn't really see too much of it. It's a lot of just countrysides, but some of the places that are the towns, right? Let me just read some of these out around where it is. Windermere. That sounds like a couple of things to me. That sounds like either a League of Legends character or some sort of Game of Thrones castle. Probably a shithole. Shap. Who thought of that? They must have been running out of... when the Romans got to this side of the country, they really must have given up. I'll just bang through the rest. Kirkby Lonsdale. Grange over Sands. Can you imagine being born in a place called that? You've not got much hope, have you? But it was fun. It was about 3 hours it took. Of course, when Big Popper decides to drive across the country, everyone wakes up and starts doing shots of vodka, and then goes to work in the car and plows it into the central reservation, or nearly kills me. But it made me think, when you're just driving, my legs, I had to stretch them out in my new little courtesy car that I've got from somebody crashing into me the other week. But it got me thinking while I was driving, I just desperately, one of my bucket list wishes is to at some point drive on the opposite side of the motorway. I went to someone's house, right, the other week, and I was like, oh, I'm getting real sick and tired of this working stuff. I'm only 24, so it's a little bit early to be sick of everything, but I was like, oh, I'm going to retire and go to a beach. And this stupid old fuck, instead of geeing me up and being like, yeah, go do it, life's meaningless and it doesn't even matter anyway, he's kind of like, oh, no, you can't do that. Why can't I do that? You fucking prick. I can do whatever I want. You're not my dad. But yeah, I nearly fucking sliced this kid in the ribs with a right hook and then heat up his rib cage a little bit, bam, 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 and then brought my knee on his head. But I don't even know if I'd like that. I don't know what. I think what you want is some sort of meaning or purpose. I like creating stuff. I feel like, I don't want to work all my life. And I feel like, I don't know, at some point I want a house in every single climate. Because in the winter, I like the winter, okay? I feel like you've got to have it to appreciate the summer. And who wants to be hot all year? It gets to the point in England at the end of summer where it's I'm ready for a bit of cool, I remember we had like the hottest week in history this summer that just passed. And it got to a point where you usually look forward to sleeping at the end of the day like, oh, I'm just going to forget everything and just peacefully go into the night. But when it's like 40 degrees, which it was, or was it was like 38 or something like that, you're like going to bed to meet the demons that have just terrorized you last night like waking up in a sweaty mess. Because when I get it too hot, man, there's something about my biochemistry that starts bringing out wizards and gremlins and that, and then they start talking to me. But even under a fan in the heat in the middle of summer, it's something that just can't be custard. I think that's it. I think I've spoken quite a bit too much. And I'm all demented in the head. My head's all swollen up again, Anyway, keep it real, guys. If anyone asks you for lunch money, bring a gun into school. I'm joking. If anyone tries to take your lunch money, why don't you say, oh, I've already got your lunch here, and it's a flipping knuckle sandwich with double knuckles, and then beat the head in like Spider-Man. Peace.